Blog Talk Radio. Looking for inspiration to take action, to grow? Then you've arrived. The Cocoa Express has been waiting for you. Hey everybody, welcome back. It's me, your host, Aurelia. And I have to say, I am so happy to be here. We're starting a new podcast, and it's called 60 over 60. And I had this epiphany one day when I was sleeping, and I was like, you know what? When people start to turn 60, society looks at them one way, and they look at things from another direction, and it's all a mess. Okay, so this is what I believe. Okay, that once you reach a certain number in your life, things will never be the same, and they're not supposed to be the same. They're supposed to change. And why would you want things to remain the same? Because as you grow, evolve, develop, things change. Your perception of life changes. Your views change. The way you look at the world changes. The world changes. Nothing remains the same. So why would you believe that because your age progresses, that you are no longer viable, that something, stops for you? It doesn't. And this is what this particular podcast is all about, celebrating those that people think have stopped because a certain number has popped up in their life. Well, we're going to learn something today, okay? Up next, we have the amazing Stewart Granger. Yep. People know him as Stu. He has an amazing story to share with each and every one of us. And guess what? His story is still ongoing. He is said to be one of the best point guards in Canadian senior men's national basketball history. He represented Canada at the 1982 and 1990 FIBA World Championships for men. He made history as the first Black Canadian to be drafted into the NBA when the Cleveland Cavaliers selected him 24th overall in the 1983 NBA draft. In the 3 seasons in the NBA, he appeared in 80 games for the Cavaliers, Atlanta Hawks, and the New York Knicks. Now, prior to the NBA, he spent 4 years at the University of Villanova, where he played 125 games for the Wildcats and was an All-Big East second team selected to back-to-back seasons. See, that's a huge accomplishment. That's a lot for somebody to experience. But we want to find out, what did it take? How did you get there? What were you looking at? And where are you now? And what is life like for you now? So I am honored, extremely honored, to have Mr. Granger on the show with us today. I call him Stu. So please take the opportunity to get to learn who he is.
Hello, good evening to everyone that's listening, and happy holidays to everyone and their families.
Oh, thank you, thank you, thank you. We are appreciative of that warm welcome. So how are you today?
Oh, I'm doing great. I'm still young, still able to spend time with my kids and my 6 grandkids.
Oh, wow.
And I'm trying to help educate them in some form or fashion.
I hear you. You have such an amazing, rich history. You have a wonderful story and a journey. You have, I'm putting it all out there, you have cleared the path, paved the way, and made it possible for so many others to come behind you and do what you do. How did it all start? And the big question is, was there ever another option other than basketball?
Okay, well, it started when I was young. My parents are from Trinidad, and they actually migrated and went to school in Canada, so that's when I was born in Canada. But we left there when I was like 4 or 5. We came to New York, and we was actually living in Brownsville with my other families that had a 4 family apartment. So we actually lived there. And when I was in Canada, I was actually playing hockey when I was young. And
no
also
way.
learning
No
French.
way.
And yes, and also because it was always, cold and icy. So, we was just playing hockey a little bit. But then when you came to United States, we started playing basketball.
Okay.
So
Interesting.
So that's how that started. And, I'll end up playing for the middle school and junior high school at that time.
So.
And also
No, go ahead, please.
Right.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. Also, my cousin, he also played in college, so he was very influential in me, playing, because I had to play against older guys and they would beat me up. But he was like, "Yo, you got to take the punishment." So I just took the punishment. And also, when I was out there, I learned from everyone. So when I seen something that I liked, I used to come to the park around 6, 7 o'clock in the morning time and work on what I had to do. I had to put that time in. So in the afternoon, I was able to then demonstrate what I actually learned and practiced.
Okay, great. That is amazing. These things that I learned, I'm learning a lot right now. So you played hockey, and when you transitioned when in Canada you played hockey. When you came to the United States, Brooklyn, you played basketball. And what was that like? You were only 4 years old, so you really wouldn't have any solid recollection of making that transition. But while you were on the basketball court, what were your thoughts? What were you thinking? Are you just playing because you liked the game and it was something you loved? Did you think that you saw a future at that time?
Well, at the time, I was like everybody was playing, so I just decided to start playing because I was very, very fast and quick. And let me tell you a story how I became so fast and quick. We lived on Saratoga in Brownsville. We went to school at 183, which was around the corner. So at that time, they were like, "Oh, y'all are coconuts. Get those coconuts." So basically, in the classroom, remember they had the clock that it don't work anymore, but back then it used to work. So when it got like 2:50, 2:55, I was already packed up and ready to run out the door. So the whole entire school was actually chasing my brother and my cousins back home every single day. Every time we came out, because you remember the train station right there. So we go to the store. They come out the store, they see us, we got to run around the corner. Every time we kept running. So, I think they caught my cousin. They never caught me, so I was so fast. So I would like to thank them for all they did for me when I was younger to make me a very fast individual at the time.
Oh, that's cool.
But as time went on, they actually embraced us, and we started playing basketball. So I was still like in the early stage, trying to just play and learn the game.
Okay. Now, I know that basketball was something that you learned and you played, but what about academics? How important was that to you?
Okay, now we're going to talk about the 3 B's, and I don't want nobody to be offended by it, but in my household, my father was always about books, because if my books wasn't correct, I can't play basketball. So I came up with books, basketball, and babes. That's the 3 B's. You don't never put your girl in front of your basketball or your schoolwork. You never put basketball, in front of your book. So I was all about education first, sports, and then, girls always came when we laughed.
Okay. Now, you made it through junior high school, and then you wound up in high school. In high school, you played for, was it Nazareth? And how was that? What was that like?
That was a different experience because it was a Catholic school, and it was predominantly white, which, I have, no issues with that. However, we was all supposed to go to Tilden High School. Because I don't know if you can recall, in junior high school, they used to have basketball. So after the 8th grade, they got rid of that. And I was so lucky that this coach, which was 2 police officers, had us play. It was Bo, Artie, and myself. And, we was the only, Afro-Americans on the team, and we had some other white players. So we was always playing together. We was always winning. Then all of a sudden, we had Kareem. Remember Kareem that played with the Lakers? We had him, and we had this other guy. So we had a great team. And we played in McDonald's Classics. We beat everybody like 30, 40 points. And we were cadets. And when we played Tyrells, which, older, we used to beat them by 30 and 40.
Hmm.
So that particular coach was supposed to get the job to Tilden, but they gave it to somebody else. So what he did was he had us play against Nazareth, and Nazareth ended up giving us a scholarship.
Oh, cool.
Because he didn't want us to go to Tilden, yeah. So then everybody split up. But if we were all together, Tilden High School would have been, we had a great team, but we all split up.
Okay.
But when I did get that scholarship, now, I had to do some work because in public school, passing was 65. In Catholic school, it's 70. That 5 points make a big difference. It makes a big difference.
That's kind of interesting. So I would like to ask, we're gonna come back to this, but I wanted to ask, where are your friends now? Did they make it into the NBA? Did they, what happened to your?
Yes,
your
I had a few people that made it into the NBA, and also they played overseas. John Pannone, Ed Pickney, Dwayne McClain, Rory Sparrow. During my time.
Oh, okay. So now you went to high school. When you got into high school, obviously, you were a stellar athlete, and it came time to go to college. When you were making decisions to go to college, what was the focus? What was your main focus when choosing a college to go to? Was it based on sports or was it based on academics?
It was based on sports, and also people have to realize, I hope they realize, you got to find out who's there, who's leaving, and, you have to have trust in the coach and assistant coach. So there's one school, I don't know if I should mention it, but I was thinking about going to Syracuse, and at the time they told me they had Eddie Morse. And they told me, I think Eddie was a sophomore. So if I would have came in, I would have been a freshman. He would have been a junior. Okay? So he said, "Oh, you could take Eddie. You could take Eddie's spot because he's doing this." So I said, "Okay." I just listened. Then I decided. I said, "That's just people just lying to me." I didn't believe in it. So when I went to Villanova, it was only Rory Sparrow, and the coach said, "Next year, it's your job, and you keep your job." So I learned under Rory Sparrow because he also played in the pros, and he told me, "Don't you never, ever, ever let nobody take your spot once you get the spot." So anybody that I recruited, I told him, "You could come, but it's going to be a war every day, and if you think about starting, you'll never start." So I felt more comfortable being at Villanova than at Syracuse.
Okay.
And to make a long story short, I remember playing against Syracuse, and Eddie Moss is still starting on the team. And I've played against him for 2 years, and he's still on the